What's going on YouTube? This is Coach Carr here, bringing you another video. So I hope that intro was cringy enough for you. We're going to look at number 1 now. It says in the diagram below, line A is parallel to line B. Give an example of each angle pair and write if they are congruent or supplementary. Just in case you don't remember, congruent is saying they are equal. So the symbol for that has the equal sign with that squiggly above it. And supplementary means that it equals 180 when they add together. So I'm just going to do one example for each, and then hopefully you know all these different angle relationships. So corresponding angles. One example of corresponding angles, let's say if I start with angle 2, well, that one is on the right side and above the parallel line. Well, if I look at number 6, that is also above the other parallel line, so they would be corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and put angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. So that would be an example of corresponding angles, and they are congruent. Next one you have is alternate interior angles. So interior tells us that they have to be inside of the parallel lines. The alternate says that they have to be on opposite sides of the transversal, which is the line that cuts through the parallel lines. So if I went with 3, let's say I said angle 3, well, alternate interior angles are congruent, so I'm going to say they're congruent, and the alternate interior to 3 would be 6. So that would be an example of alternate interior. Alternate exterior, the alternate parts still, they have to be on opposite sides of the transversal, but exterior means they have to be outside of the parallel lines. So let's say, for instance, I looked at angle 1. Well, angle 1 would be congruent to angle 8 because alternate exterior angles are congruent to each other. Same side interior angles. Those can also be called consecutive interior. So depending on how it's written, sometimes you'll see it written that way as well. So they have to be on the same side of the transversal, and they have to be inside of the parallel lines. So if I went with angle 4, that would go with angle 6. But this is the one that's different from all the other ones because this would be supplementary. That means they have to add up to 180. So the way I'm going to write it is angle 4 plus angle 6 equals 180 because this one is supplementary. Then vertical angles are ones that are directly across from each other. So for instance, if I said angle 8, well, directly across from angle 8 would be angle 5, and vertical angles are also congruent. So most of them are congruent. The ones that aren't are the same side interior, same side exterior, and if you had a linear pair. So the next problem we have here is number 2. It says in the diagram below, lines L and M are parallel. Find the measures of the following angles. So the way that I'm going to find this, you could have done it slightly different depending on what you notice. I'm just going to end up going in order, finding angle 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you could have potentially did it a little bit different. So if I'm looking for angle 1 is right here. I'm going to start filling in a little bit of the things I already know. Like, I notice that I have vertical angles. That's something I can assume. So right here would be 47 degrees. So this is going to help me find angle 1, because if you notice you have an angle down here, and this angle right here is 139 degrees. Well, if I did my alternate exterior angle, an alternate exterior angle, it has to be congruent. So the angle from here all the way into angle 1 has to have a total of 139 degrees. Well, this portion is 47 degrees. So the way I'm going to find out how big 1 is actually to subtract that 47 from 139. When I do that, I'm going to get 92 degrees. So angle 1 is equal to 92 degrees. And make sure you do not forget that degree symbol. So the way I found this one was with alternate exterior angles. Now, the next one that I could find, if I wanted to go in order, let's say if I was looking at number 2. Well, I know that this angle fully, we said, equaled 139. So if this portion is 139, and if I did this portion, and this portion, it would form a straight line. Well, a straight line has to equal 180 degrees. So if I did 180 minus 139, so 180 minus 139, I would be able to find angle 2. So that would mean angle 2 is 41 degrees. So I knew that because I saw a straight line. So if I did this angle here and this one, those two angles together form a linear pair, which has to equal 180 degrees. Now, if I go to angle 3, I already found angle 1. And when you have something directly across, so if you have an angle directly across, you have vertical angles. So vertical angles are congruent. So I know that angle 3 is congruent to this one, so this one must be 92 degrees. And I knew this because of vertical angles. Now, angle 4, the way that I am going to find it is, you notice that you had this angle already here. We used it earlier, vertical angles over here, but this can also go with 4 because they would be alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles have to be congruent. Congruent means the same, so this one also would be 47 degrees. All right, so the next problem we're looking at is number 3. It says find the value of x that proves line L is parallel to line M. So the way that you prove that they're parallel is finding some type of angle relationship. Well, with 145 being on the exterior, this one being on the interior, we do not actually have an angle relationship. So we're going to try to make it so that we do have one. So I know 145 could also be directly across right here because that would be vertical angles. So I know for a fact this has to also be here. With that being here, this 145 degrees, I actually now have an angle relationship between this one and the 5x. So the angle relationship that you have there is called consecutive interior. Now, it also can sometimes be called the same side interior. Whichever way you say it, it means the same thing. So if this one is 145, this is 5x, and they make consecutive interior is supplementary, which means that they have to add up to 180 degrees. So the way I'm going to set this up, 145 plus 5x equals 180 because they have to add to 180. So I am now going to subtract 145 from both sides. That's so it cancels out over here. And you have 5x equals 35. Divide by 5 now. And you get x equals 7. And they wanted us to solve for x. All right, so the last one on this front page says, if L is parallel to M, then find the measure of both angles after solving for X. So looking at where these equations are placed, I don't have an angle relationship for them right now. So just like the problem before, I'm going to want to make it so I move one of them somewhere so I can use an actual angle relationship. The one that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move 11 minus 2x right here. The reason being, or the way I know that I could have it right there, is because that would be alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent. So I know it could have also been here. So if I had it right here, these two angles together form a linear pair. And so linear is meaning line, pair means two. So if it's linear, a line, it has to equal 180 degrees. So it's supplementary. So if it's supplementary, I'm going to add them together. So 85 minus 19x plus 11 minus 2x equals 180 degrees. So next thing you want to do, combine your like terms. So 85 is going to go with the 11, and the negative 19 will go with the negative 2. So 85 plus 11 is 96. Negative 19x minus 2x is negative 21x. And it's still all equal to 180 degrees. Next step here, I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 96 from both sides. That will make it so it cancels out on the left side, and now I have negative 21x equals 84. I still want x by itself, so what I'm going to do now is divide by negative 21. And this is going to give me x equals a negative 4. So my x is negative 4. Now that's not the end of this problem. They do want us to also find the exterior angle and the interior angle. So we'll do the exterior angle first because that's the first one listed. Exterior angle means that it's outside of the parallel line. So the one that's outside of the parallel lines is the 85 minus 19x. So we're going to do that, 85 minus 19x. But instead of x, we now know that it is equal to negative 4. So 85 minus 19 times negative 4. Negative 19 times negative 4 turns it positive. So what you have now is 85 plus 76, and that equals 161. So the exterior angle is equal to 161 degrees. Next one we want to do is the interior angle. So the interior angle is the one that's inside of the parallel lines. So the one that's inside the parallel lines is the 11 minus 2x. Instead of x, we are now going to have negative 4. So 11 minus 2 times negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 4 gives us a positive 8. So 11 plus 8 equals 19. Thank you so much for watching page 1. More videos to come. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell, and of course, buy my merch. I don't actually have merch, but I just wanted to say that.